Hello, everyone. Today I'm joined by Dean Farmer, currently the Coordinator of Innovation and Special Initiatives on UK's Student Government Association. Today we'll be discussing potential issues of involvement and representation within the SGA and its relation to race. So I just wanted to start off and ask, how did you get involved with SGA? How did you hear about and eventually join?
So I knew a few people who had come to UK before, and I'd kind of heard them toss around the word SGA. But to be honest, I didn't really know what it was until K-Week. We had Campus Ruckus, and I went up to the table and just talked to the SGA people, and I immediately fell in love with what SGA is, what it stands for. You know, the idea that students can be involved here on campus and make a genuine impact on what we do and how this campus is run. That seemed really special to me. So,
do you think people might struggle to join SGA if they don't go to, non-mandatory campus events like this?
Well, I think that's an issue no matter what you do. Where I know SGA's marketing team is working really hard. They'll table in Whitehall, they'll table in the Student Center, they'll table outside, they'll table everywhere on campus. But to some extent, I do agree that there's certain people who you just can't reach, where it's just impossible to know where every single person on campus is going to be, and unless you can directly talk to every individual. And some people just aren't going to be willing to talk to you, and some people just hear the words SGA and are going to disassociate immediately.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to say, according to UK's website, there are about 30,000 undergraduate students here enrolled for the 2018-2019 school year. Close to 10,000 identify with some sort of racial minority group. So that being said, have you noticed any racial imbalance among members of the SGA?
I wouldn't say so, which is something that I know a lot of student governments in the South especially have had a lot of problems with. I know of Michael Hamilton as our president, and he is a straight white male, but he's done a fantastic job of including a lot of different racial groups, a lot of very equal gender groups. He's been very inclusive of the LGBTQ community. For example, I believe 8 out of our 12 current directors are of a racial minority group. And that is the outgoing directors, because we haven't currently selected our executive team for the next year, so I quite frankly don't have the statistics on that. But I also know that our incoming president of the Senate, Jack, he's actually a student originating from the Democratic Republic of the Congo in Africa. So we have done a decent job, I would say, of representing racial minorities here on campus. And obviously there's always going to be more that you can do. There's always going to be areas in which you can improve, which is something that Heina is our director of diversity and inclusion, and she's constantly working on that, constantly looking at ways that SGA can reach out and include more groups. And
I've looked at the SGA website too, and I've seen that there is like a good amount of diversity, a lot of representation. Do you think maybe less leadership oriented positions, do you think that it might affect that area, or it might have an effect with incoming classes?
The current administration, the Hamilton administration, has done an incredible job of attempting to reach out to various groups, whether it's like we just had our self-cares and selfish resource fair, where we had about 13 different student groups, I would say over half of which were representing different minority or marginalized groups on campus, whether that be a racial minority group like the Latino Student Union, the Black Student Union, the NAACP, a religious minority group like the Muslim Student Association, or even just a group that maybe isn't considered as much. You know, we had the Student Veterans Association there. So we make an active effort to reach out to as many different demographics as we can, as many different groups as we can, so that everybody at the very least has an even playing field. It's just how much students really want to know at that point.
Any last comments?
Just to kind of reiterate what I said earlier, you know, diversity and inclusion, it's something that we're always striving towards. And we're not perfect, and I would never pretend that we are. But I am going to say that we're doing our best. also going to say that recent events on campus have kind of opened our eyes a lot to groups that don't feel represented by SGA. They're working on it. We're always trying to improve, and hopefully next time around we get to talk about it. I'll have even more improvements to talk about, and because of that, I'll have even more goals to talk about.